So my name is Glenda Payton and I like to play the piano, read and do photo scrapbooking and diamond art. So a little bit about my mental health lived experience. It first started really when I was in about year 9. I'd had a few stressful events. A neighbour who lived down the road, who was a few years older than me, had suicided, and I'd been bullied a little bit. So I went to Campbelltown mental health ward at the age of 17 and it was quite challenging because at that time there was no adolescent ward. So I was 17 with a whole lot of adults. Just kept taking my medications, seeing the GP, and I was fine for about 9 years. In that period of time I met my husband at uni, and after being married for a couple of years we had twins, and then with being off the medication for the pregnancy, all the sleep deprivation and hormones, and it wasn't till they were about 5 weeks old, the twins, that it just all got to me. I barely slept at all.
So my name's Abigail Palmer. I'm the mental health peer worker in Orange Emergency Department. And when I'm not here, I run my own business as an equine sports massage therapist. I was officially diagnosed when I was 11 years old with severe anxiety and depression. Unfortunately, it was passed down from my dad and it runs through his family. Throughout my teenage years, I was in and out of hospital, and I kind of learnt to smile when people came to see me, and they'd just shoo me off home, and Mum would be like, no, you're going right back. I had my first planned admission into CAMS unit when I was 14. That was to kind of mess around with my medication, have a bit of a play around as I just was really struggling. Everything seemed to get back on track and I was doing well. Unfortunately, when I turned 16, I went downhill quite severely. I had a failed suicide attempt and I was readmitted back into CAMS.
My name is Anne McLaughlin. I'm from Dubbo. I'm a consumer. I'm actually trained as a librarian, and I love painting and drawing, and I would like to be a peer worker. I was diagnosed with a psychosis. I had carer burnout. My mum had a massive stroke and my dad had dementia, and I was looking after them with not as many supports as I would have really liked to have. Yeah, I ended up in the psych ward and a number of times in transition in Barraminya. When I ended up in the psych ward, that was fairly scary because I'd never been in hospital in all my 50 years. I think I was the only girl there at the time. That's all right, I was like a little sister. We're in there for a reason, and you get to know other people.
I'm Candy Lee Trudgett. I'm 44 years of age. I've been through domestic violence and I've had drug use in my life for the last 20 years, and I've made a change recently over the last 27 weeks, and I'm drug free. And I'm a single mother of 5 children. The choices I've made in the past have been terrible, but I've had many attempts at getting clean and many attempts didn't work. But I just keep going, and it's finally come through.
My name is Jacqueline Rudge and I am a 5th generation Bathurstian. I serve on Bathurst Regional Council. What I value most in life is health and well-being, particularly mental health. Without your health, everything really means nothing. My mental health, history, I believe stems from when my father passed away suddenly when I was 9 years old. There was no support services out there. You just had to get on with it. Mum was left, raising me. Unfortunately, I was sexually abused during my teen years. I found that to be very difficult because I was going through high school at that time. I came into Panorama Clinic and it was scary, but I knew I needed to be there. I was thankful to be there. I felt I didn't have to face the outside world for a little while, and I had time to concentrate on me.
My name's Bex and I am a mother of 5 actually, and a student of social work. And I've lived in Bathurst for a couple of years now. So my experience with mental health has actually been both as a consumer and as a carer. My consumer period was a long time ago, and I actively supported my daughter more recently about 2 years ago. Actually, it's been really positive because I have been able to see the shifts between what my experience was within my own family and who I became therefore being able to support my daughter during a tough time. So that was really important, I think.
My name's Chris Bassingthwaite. I live in Dubbo. I'm a structural engineer and I'm married with 2 young children. So around 5 years ago, I was required to support my wife who had a lived experience, which was postnatal psychosis after the birth of our first child. And I was sort of at the forefront of everything.
So there's been a couple of admissions out in Bathurst and Orange. The first one was really when my twins were very, very little. My first day before I was actually admitted was, I had in my head that I was going there voluntarily about 10ish in the morning and with my mental health caseworker, and that I was going to hopefully be at Panorama Clinic, and we were exploring different things, who would look after the twins with my husband. But the first day was extremely distressing because I was in a room in the emergency department, no windows, bright lights, lots of noise. I was quite unwell by that point, so just being in that environment probably made me worse throughout the whole day. And I think in the end someone turned the light on and I kicked the wall because I was just distressed by all the noise and the light.
Oh, I was absolutely terrified. I was absolutely terrified, considering like when I was 11 I had my first experience and it wasn't the best, and that's what really originally made me stop talking, is because every time I opened my mouth I was put into hospital. And yeah, I was absolutely terrified. I was just, here we go again, I can't do this, and I was an absolute mess. So I remember screaming to Mum and Dad, don't leave me here, and just seeing everything locked up, I was terrified and I was really, really scared. I found the experience of admission quite confusing, obviously because I was only the young age of 14 and I kind of didn't really have any idea what was going on. I just knew that I was going to this place. Yeah, everyone was talking about me around me and I just felt like I was a bit left out a bit when, hey, I'm the reason we're all here.
I didn't know what I was going to. I just come from legal matters at court and I didn't know what I would put my hand up for. But when I got the friendly staff at the counter, got me feel comfortable. Didn't feel like I was going to do something with paperwork, more paperwork, more paperwork, more paperwork, more signing. It was more that I felt like someone's there to listen to me.
Obviously, when you have experience in this yourself and you see your child struggling, it's really hard. And you wish that you could take it away yourself. Trusting other people with your child can be a real struggle. Yep.
What worked for me with my treatment was actually being listened to. My caseworker with the local health district was the one that connected me to the clinicians, and when I was a bit frustrated with what was happening, they would be that connector, and also the peer workers, because they could work on my behalf if I wasn't getting anywhere. So I had to really say, look, this is not working for me. And they were the ones that were like the liaison people. That's why I feel that that role is very important.
First time I done merit was, I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't know what I was going in for. I didn't take it in as much as I should have. The second time I really look forward to go to merit, really look forward to see what we're going to learn this week, what tools I'm going to pick up this week, see what I can do for myself, see what else is available in life for myself.
I think that peer support is incredibly important. And I think that when you're surrounded by people who care and are dedicated to being those kind of peoples in your life, then it makes a huge difference. And I just think that that is one of the really important things that I have noted for this area.
With a mental illness, you feel so alone and you just feel like nobody understands you. But when I stepped foot in there and I saw all these other kids my age in there with me, it was honestly the biggest eye-opener. Was realising that I wasn't alone. And the fact that there was people out there that wanted to help me, I just said to myself really, like, you're normal. For the first time, I felt like I was normal and I felt like I wasn't alone. I didn't have a peer support worker because it was quite a long time ago, but I think if I had one this day, it'd be the best thing ever. They're not a nurse, they're not a doctor, they're not going to sit there and tell you what to do. They're just going to sit there and listen and relate to you and tell you that you're going to be okay. And I think there needs to be more of that.
Activities outside of the hospital also gave me the opportunity to think there was more to life. They gave me that insight that there's more to life. We even done fitness in there, we done cooking. It gave us a range of skills that we needed in everyday living.
When I'm unwell, just watching TV is not really helpful because I sometimes think things are happening on the TV that aren't real. So being able to do things that are meaningful, like arts and crafts or going for a walk, is really helpful. What I did find challenging was when I went from Amaroo in Orange to Bathurst Panorama Clinic, I had been able to just have leave during the day and come back just for meal times at Amaroo. I could walk around and do my own thing but be back for meals. When I was transferred to Bathurst, at that time I was only able to go out for about 10 minutes of every hour, so while it was a lovely calm environment as well in Bathurst, I did find it challenging not being able to walk outside for fresh air.
I found the nurses and staff really approachable. They were lovely, they were supportive, and any questions that I had about the process or anything, they were available and there, ready for a conversation.
The groups are very, very important. Well, I think they are anyways, because you do get these relationships with these other kids and you support each other, you encourage each other. You get so excited when they get to leave because you've seen them in your time there really become well, and you kind of sit there and think to yourself, I can't wait till that's me. Yeah.
I met some lovely people in there. I met some not so lovely people in there. What I really enjoyed, because I'm a very social person, I enjoyed the group therapy. I found that to be very helpful because it was helpful listening to other people's stories, and people were interested in hearing my story as well. That is a huge part of repairing, is understanding that other people go through things, understanding how they get through them, and that there is light at the end of the tunnel.
Melissa made me feel comfortable, made me feel that I was needed in the community, that I was needed as a mother, someone to care for me, someone to show me that I do really matter.
I really think that people should, as much as possible, be discharged into an environment that is suitable for them to be able to work through the different challenges that they are facing. Accommodation where they have support from either community organisations or their own family and carers is really important. And just to have that follow-up care from their community mental health team and being able to be linked into all the supports in the community following admission, I think is really important.
As I was leaving the hospital, I didn't get a discharge summary at all on my notes or what anything I was doing. And I really don't think I even got one sent to my doctor, because when I went to the doctor said, "What did you do?" And then I told him, and really, that should have been my notes to go to the doctor, what I'd done and everything.
So when my wife was discharged from hospital and we were given all these various services, at one point I was trying to work out what the plan was for my wife and how her recovery was actually going. It's sort of been 3 months or thereabouts since our discharge. I hadn't really noticed much, a great deal of improvement, or it seemed very, very slow improvement. So I wanted to arrange an appointment with the GP. I basically said that I didn't think the level of support that we were getting was adequate. We weren't really seeing the results that we would have hoped for. and I requested whether or not we could see someone more specialised in the area of postnatal psychosis, at which point the doctor referred us to a postnatal psychologist in Orange, which I was a bit taken back by, because I was really surprised that didn't actually occur right at the beginning. It would have saved us 3 months, and we would have been 3 months further advanced. So by the time that happened, things really started to improve.
We had to make sure that we had enough supports in place in Bathurst, and with no family close by, it was really helpful that my husband's family from Mudgee were able to come over for about half the week and really help out. But we had a few organisations in town to help us in the early days, and I really appreciated that. Having purpose in life, having something to get you out of bed each day, that someone relying on you to be healthy. Like I said before, being busy but not too busy, not too overcommitted, but having a few things in life that make you happy and help other people.
So I definitely felt more involved in the situation when it came to leaving, because obviously everything came down to me.
I think that there is recovery that happens very, very quickly, and then there's an ongoing recovery process that is something that we struggle with every single day.
There's definitely light at the end of the tunnel, but in the middle of sometimes a long admission, I would have been most of the year in Year 12 in 2 different hospitals. Sometimes it's hard to see that light at the end of the tunnel, but you will get there and you will have a purposeful life in the community, and everything will be fine again. You just need to trust that everyone's working hard to help you, whether it be the staff as well as your family and carers, and you will get there. It'll be a better day.
I've heard people say, yeah, I'm clean for 2 days. 1 day is better than none. I thought that recovery was just, get clean. I didn't understand that recovery was about, I've got to change my way of living, change my lifestyle.
Recovery means to me is getting on with my life, doing what I want to do, doing the things that I enjoy, spending time with my family and friends.
In a way, I haven't really recovered. I've just learned how to deal with my mental illnesses, because I know that it's just something I'm going to have for the rest of my life, and so it's all about learning how to deal with it and learning how to deal with it on a daily basis.
Seeing my daughter thrive after being supported so well by people around here, and being a part of that for her has been fantastic. She's doing so well, she's independent, she's off in a different city and loving life.
Well, I'm still getting to the end of the tunnel, but the tunnel's not so dark now, if you can say that. Yeah, there is light at the end of the tunnel, and the tunnel's long, but you eventually get there.
Living locally was definitely really, really helpful, especially when I wasn't inpatient, knowing that my family wasn't too far away at all.
They have a day program. So I could live in the community and do my rehabilitation. I didn't have that opportunity. Being in the country, I know they do in the city, had the opportunity to go to rehab every day and come home to their family. That's the one thing I would like to change.
It can not just affect the person, it affects the whole family. So you've got to take into consideration not just the person, but everybody around it. And that's why it's important to sit everybody down, if you can, and have a yarn.
I think that when you live local to services, it makes a huge difference. I know that from the place where I previously lived, and during the time when I was a consumer, that wasn't readily available. I was very isolated, and so to live in Bathurst and to have those support services right on our doorstep, huge difference.
Well, it's always good to know a little bit about the time frame, how long you'll be there, but I understand that that's not always possible to find out straight away. I definitely found that as a new mum, because I didn't have any drug or alcohol issues as well, there was a lack of, so this was 10 years ago, but there was a lack of residential mental health care where you could have the babies with you. So it was only once I got to Sydney, I had them with me in the room and my husband could also visit. I do think that if I'd been living in the city, potentially I could have been able to go straight to a ward where I didn't have to be separated from my kids, which was hard.